Hey guys, thanks so much for tuning in today. I'm Janae, your host. This is the UBU podcast, and it's all about encouraging you to be who God called you to be. So today I want to just talk about waiting. It can be really hard to wait, especially to my single ladies. You know, you want that man, you want that husband, you've got a timeline. You've been saying since you were 8 years old, 10 years old, maybe even 18 years old. I'm going to be married by this time. I'm going to have a husband by this time. I'm going to have a child by this time. And as you've grown up, life is life. You realize that sometimes those timelines don't timeline, right? I'm 30 and I still don't have a husband. I'm 28 and I still don't have kids yet. You know, what is going on? What's happening? I think those are very real questions, and God is not afraid of those questions. We should go to him with everything, right? We lay everything at his feet. So I'm going to talk about my time where I was impatient, right? It was back in 2015. I had just moved to Columbia, South Carolina. I got a job at WLTX. What's up, y'all? Love you guys forever and always. And that was my second job outside of college. And it was hard. It was lonely. I had moved to Wilmington, North Carolina by myself, no family, no friends. And I'm doing it all over again 2 years later in Columbia, South Carolina, no family, no friends. And I just remember like, I really want to be married. I really want a husband. You know, you kind of tell yourself, if I had a husband, if I had a partner, whatever, you know, I wouldn't be so lonely. At least I would have somebody with me, right? And so those are the thoughts, very real thoughts, very real emotions. I remember seeing this guy on Instagram that I used to know. And I was just like, man, it's been years since I talked to him. Started talking, and I'm like, oh, he's great. You know, he has the status, he has seemingly the money, the credentials that I was checking for. Let's just be transparent. Your girl's been a little bit materialistic. Something I'm working on. Yeah. I ain't saying she's a gold digger, but you know, I I just have to be honest there. And very handsome, very attractive. So, you know, started talking. He would visit me. He lived somewhere else, so he would come visit me. And, you know, in the beginning, he said everything that I wanted him to say. I'm like, oh, you're a Christian? Like, cool. But then as the relationship went on, it was like, you're a Christian? Like, why, you know, why X, Y, and Z? And it would just be these explosive fights. It was awful. My friends were concerned. And I just decided, finally, thank God, and God's prompting, got out of that situationship. But that's how desperate I was. For whatever reason, I was so desperate for companionship, to have that husband, to the point where I was trying to make it myself, right? I was creating it for myself. God was taking too long, so I brought it in. And just like Abraham in the Bible, we think about Abraham and Sarah. God had promised them this child, but they were getting old. It's like, and real old too, y'all. Not just like I'm 30. Baby, they was like 100, 90, whatever. And they still didn't have a kid. So they took it upon themselves. Of course, we got Sarah's maid servant. Hey, girl, we need a kid. Abraham and Hagar had a child, Ishmael. And, you know, Abraham and Sarah were like, we wanted a child. We've been wanting a child. Lord, we know you promised us a child, but it's taking too long. So we're going to help you. And so Abraham had a child with Hagar, and that was a disaster. Ishmael, still, you know, still blessed. He's a blessing, or was a blessing, but they were outside of God's will. And so it brought a lot of strife and drama. Same with me, right? It was not God's will for me to be with that man. Okay. I was rushing the Lord. He was taking too long. And as a result, I got hurt. Hey, I got hurt. I did. And I remember after that point, I was just like, okay, Lord, whatever it is you want for my love life, that's what I want. I surrender my love life to you. And honestly and truly, I just became content. I learned to just be content. Seriously, I was fine. I was a part of Ford City Church. You know, I knew I was going to be married. I knew that God had something for me. I knew that. And I just was like, okay, Lord, I'm going to serve you. I'm going to boss up my relationship with you, and I'm going to act as if I'm married now. I remember going to something with Pastors Travis and Jackie. I was part of Forest City Church in Columbia. Even before they had their first official launch, they had this event, many events that I would go to. And then within their infancy, they had a singles night. And I remember them telling us, listen, if you want to be married now. What would you be doing differently if you were married? And so I changed my habits, right? I had a roster, got rid of that roster. I wasn't entertaining any conversations, any company that I knew wasn't fruitful, that I knew wouldn't lead to marriage down the line. And you know, right? Like you just know, like if it's a guy who you just think is cute, but he doesn't go to church, or, you know, X, Y, and Z, you know, like he's not your husband, because you kind of know. Just got rid of those folks, right? And so was super content. I mean, honestly, I knew God had it taken care of. I had been hurt so bad, I had messed it up so bad that I'm like, okay, Lord, this is yours for real. I was at church one Sunday, and this was months after my horrible relationship. So this was months after my horrible relationship. Ford City launched, and that was the first time I had spoken to my husband. So I used to dance in church at Ford, and my husband sings, and he was on the stage and he was doing praise and worship. And so after the service, he comes up to me and he says, "Hey, I didn't know you could dance." And I just say, "Oh, I didn't know you could sing," and I just walk away. I just thought it was a casual conversation. I thought nothing of it. Like seriously, I thought nothing of it. Seriously, like I was saying, I was totally content. I wasn't thinking about relationships 24/7. I just said, "God, you got this." You know? And I mean, I just thought it was weird. I'm like, why would he think, like, how would he know that? Why would he know that? But whatever, people are weird. So I just moved on. And then before I knew it, I had a DM on Instagram, and it was from the same guy. And he said, "Hey, I just wanted to say I really enjoyed you. There's this light about you. God has great things for you." And within the within that conversation, he said, "I want to get to know you. Is that okay? I really want to get to know you." And I just remember feeling so excited about that because his intentions were clear. You know, it wasn't this he leading me on, whatever. Like his intentions were clear from the jump. So we went on our first date, and he checked a lot of boxes that I didn't know needed to be checked. And that is why it is so important to go with God's best and not just your good, because God knows you better than you know yourself. He created you, so he knows exactly who you need to be with, who will be graced for you, and who you will be graced for. It goes both ways, right? And I'm just so thankful that despite my mishap, the promise still came to pass. Alan and I started talking on Instagram, and we've been together ever since. We'll be married for 5 years, and we have a 2-year-old daughter. Looking to expand our family even more within the next few years. So, just so thankful and so grateful. My husband, he truly knows the Lord. He is not perfect, but he knows the Lord. He loves me. He is faithful to his God, first and foremost, and he is also faithful to me. He is the best father I could have ever asked for my daughter. And I'm just so thankful that I trusted God with my love life. Please, y'all, I'm telling you, trust God with your love life. You are not going to regret it. He has somebody extraordinary for you. And really, whatever you're waiting on, right? In that season of my life, I was waiting on a husband. In this season of my life, I'm waiting on some other things. And it's incredibly tough. And then you start to question yourself, is this even God's will for my life? Is this what I'm supposed to be wanting? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? I know in this season, something that I'm waiting on, I even asked the Lord, can you just take the desire away? This is too hard for me. Can you just take it away? I don't want to be obsessed with this. I don't want to want this badly. And what you'll find is we're often seeking some sort of validation, success, some sort of comfort, joy in things and something else or relationships that is only supposed to come from God. Our idea of success or joy or something like that is warped. And that is why we want something so badly. Now, it's okay to want better, it's okay to want to be in a relationship, but it shouldn't be to the point where you can't function if this doesn't happen. I can't be happy unless this happens. That is borderline idolatry because we're not supposed to have any idols before God. We're supposed to only hunger and thirst for him and his righteousness. Of course, we can want things, we have desires so that God can fulfill them, but it shouldn't be to the point of a crippling of our lifestyle, to the point where we're depressed, we're sad, we're thinking that this thing is going to bring us joy. Because let me tell you something, if you don't address some of these issues before you get in a relationship, you're going to have them in the relationship. And then you have what you thought was going to be everything, and it's not bringing you that satisfaction that you thought. And then it's like, oh, I'm married. Now I got to have kids. Oh, I have kids. Now I have to have a big house. Oh, I got a big house. And it's like you're never satisfied. You're never happy. The Bible says, I have learned the secret to being content. It's I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I just believe we are to be content in whatever season we're in. Even if we're waiting for something, even if we want something really badly, there's still so much goodness in where you are. And there's still so much that God is saying and doing in this season. And it's the enemy, right? He comes to still kill and destroy. So we're often distracted. Oh, I don't have this. I don't look as good as her. Oh, I don't make as much money, right? That's the trick of the enemy. God has come. Jesus has come so that we can have life and have it more abundantly. So there's so much goodness where you are, I promise you. Even while you wait. Wait well. Suffer well. Serve well. Because once you get what you get, you're going to have a certain level of faith to keep it. Now is the time to build that faith. Now is the time to boss up. Now is the time to be ready and get ready. Stay ready so you don't have to get ready for whatever is coming, right? Because marriage is awesome. It's beautiful. It's wonderful. We have these great extravagant weddings. But you know what? You're going to have to know how to pray in marriage. You're going to have to know how to fast before you get married. You are going to have to seek God like never before. Ask me how I know. Ask me how I know. So just be encouraged. It's on the way. He's on the way. She's on the way. The job is on the way. It's on the way. It's on the way. But worship while you wait. Worship while you wait. Don't create an Ishmael. Worship while you wait. I hope this encouraged you guys. I'll talk to you later.